SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
At Community Bank, we're more than a place to manage your money. We're your neighbors and trusted financial advisors. For decades, we've helped families, small businesses, and individuals achieve their dreams. We're dedicated to your success every step of the way. Community Bank, member FDIC.
Pike County, here comes your morning show. Dave in the morning on 93.5 FM, SuperTalk Mississippi.
So now, understand, you're not going to dictate to me what I do and what I don't do, but I'm still the mayor, Mr. Blunt.
None of this meeting is recorded. None by any parties. Correct?
No, sir, none is recorded. I'm being accused.
Any conversation.
Said I want to make it on record. I want the allegations in writing, or the accused, or on recording of this harassment.
And now, here's your host, Dave Hughes.
Good morning on a Wednesday. How you doing? Hope everything is going great for you. Now, we do have that chance of weather today. Before we get into last night's meeting, 30% the chance today in Pike County. Showers, maybe some thunder showers starting up after 4 o'clock. High of 84. Now, tonight is when it gets serious. Tonight, showers and thunder showers. That's a 90% chance of that, by the way, for this evening in Pike County. And then possibly a thunderstorm between 2 and 4 a.m. is the official forecast. I think it may be a hair earlier than that, not much. We'll wait and see. They are forecasting new rainfall amounts between 1 and 2 inches tonight alone. It's going to be wet. You know the usual locations, the usual suspects, as I always call them, the places where you get a moderate amount of rain, you see flash flooding. You see water over the road. You see the problems. Might want to have one eyebrow up when you're looking in those directions in the morning on your way out headed to work, because there's a chance they could be underwater if we get what they say. Now, they're also forecasting that with this frontal system coming through, we could get winds as high as 30 miles an hour. It's going to be a messy night tonight. Go home, get the flashlight by the bed, and then go to sleep. That would be my suggestion. Tomorrow, we're not quite done with just tonight. Tomorrow, still a 30% chance of rain before 7 a.m., and then it'll move on out. But a 20-degree temperature drop. High of 84 today, high of 64 tomorrow. That's cold front coming through. Tomorrow night, clear with a low around 40. Now, you may have fooled yourself into thinking we were done with the cooler weather. You were wrong. It's just to have confessional time here. I was kind of leaning towards, yeah, we're done. No more cold weather. We're done. It's full spring. And then my wife very mindfully reminded me, we always have a cold snap around Easter. You know that, right? And I was like, yeah, but oh, yeah, you're right. We're not quite done with the cold weather yet. Not going to get down to freezing. Nowhere close. Low around 40 tomorrow night is as cold as it gets. Then we start warming right back up. By the end of the weekend, we'll be back up in the low 80s. The lows, though, are going to stay in the, around 50, we'll say. Sunday night, we'll have another slight chance of rain and a low of 47. Monday, the high will be 58. Monday night, the low 38. So, yeah, we're not quite done with the cool weather yet. But first things first, the first thing we have to focus on is the chance for some pretty nasty stuff coming through tonight. So whatever your cold weather and storm weather preparations are, go ahead and do them. Cold weather, not so much. I've just now got cold weather on the brain. Last night, the meeting of the McComb City Board of Mayor and Selectmen. We've got a couple of things I want to focus on from the 2-hour plus meeting last night. One of those is BDO, the accounting firm that's helping out with the financials for the city of McComb and the auditory processes. That sounded official, didn't it? Last night, they had some representatives from BDO on the phone to talk to the board because one of the items on the agenda was to vote to approve a payment to them for the work they're doing. I want to dip into this and listen specifically when they had Mr. Eric Love come on, talk about the specifics of what they're doing and exactly where they're at in getting the financials straightened out for the city of McComb.
Our auditor is also on the phone, Mr. Eric Love. And Mr. Love, would you please, we have the board here, would you please give the board high-level overview of where their project is from your perspective, so that we get a sense of how things are traversing.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. We are about 30% completed with our work, but our work is basically dependent on getting the trial balance and the supporting documentation for the trial balance, like the balance sheet items, the liabilities, and equity, revenue, and BDO is moving along with that. We do have the bank reconciliation. We do have the pension expense work papers. We hadn't completed the gas bill. We're still waiting on what is it that on the lease, the agreement, determine what lease need to be capitalized on the balance sheet or not. I sent Mr. Bell and his staff a list of other things that we would need to calm down and take a review of the city financial records. So that's where we are right now. Our deadline date is June 30th now.
Listen to this closely.
We need at least 60 days from the completion of BDO giving us a reconciled trial balance with all the supporting documentation. But in the meantime, like she said, it may be before June 30th. It depends on if they are finished before April 30th. Then that'll push us up if we can get the information. But we need at least 60 days after we get all the information from them to complete our report.
Okay. Still chugging along, still trying to work through this. And they're still, at this point, having to wait on information. Which, to be fair, to be honest, that was the entire impetus of this disaster, this rolling catastrophe starting financially in the city of McComb. Nobody knew what anything was. Nobody knew where anything was. Nobody knew the amounts. Nobody knew what we were paying, what we were receiving, where it was going. Nothing. So they're having to do, well, I would say forensic accounting, but at this point it's forensic necromancy. They're trying to raise the dead at this point. So yeah, it takes some time to get through that. Having said that, it should be a never-ending source of humiliation if you let things get to this point. My opinion on that. Now, you heard him say their new deadline to be done is June 30th. Because they'll need 60 days after they get everything else.
Okay. Mr. CA?
Just to bring a little realization into what this team is doing, in 2021, it took us more than a year to get through 2021. These guys are delivering what it took us over a year to do in about 4 months. That's the learning that's occurred, and we will get better as a team kind of as we proceed forward. So, and I, in terms of tracking all of these dates, it is on my plate to do that, mine and the city clerk, as she comes up to speed to, and part of the challenge is finding all this documentation.
Because we have stank at keeping records. I would like to say, City Administrator Bill, one little point I've got to bring up here. It's the middle of March. They say they're going to be done June 30th. That's 2.5 months right there. And it's only taken them 4 months to do all this. So they only started at the beginning of February? Or did you short sell the estimate to make it sound good? That's the only two possibilities. Either they're doing it in about 4 months, in which case they started at the beginning of February. February, March, April, well, January. We'll say January. But they're not going to have it done till June. The end of June is when they're going to get done. We're halfway through, and we're already bragging about how fast it went. And that's fine. It is quicker. Let's give full credit where it's due. But you have to understand something. There are plenty of people that are absolutely sick and tired of having sunshine blown up their bloomers over the financial situation in the city of McComb. We're making great strides. We're doing great things. We've been hearing that for 8 years. And this is still a problem. I'm sorry, 8 years is plenty of time to get something sorted out, and nothing has been sorted out. We're working on it now. Yay. The best you could say about it in my mind is better late than never, I guess. But I just wanted to point that out. We're talking about the target end date to deliver this information is June 30th, and in the middle of March, which is, let's see, April, May, June, end of June. So you count all of June. So that's 3.5 months from now. They say they're going to be finished, and it's only taken them 4 months. It's this level of mathematical virtuosity that has gotten us in the predicament we're in. Just saying.
Where is it? And it has to be right. And so we're having to reach back to suppliers who provided us invoices and these kinds of things and ask them to provide us information. So part of what's driving this project is the information, being able to get the information so I can get it in the hands of certainly the auditor and get this information in the hands of our consultants that are working on our books. So kudos to this team for the work that we've done so far. We have a long ways to go, but we will get there. And so our date of being done by the end of 2026 calendar year, I feel is doable, and that is still our commitment.
Being done. Does that mean up to date? Does that mean audits done through at least 2024? We still got a little time left before 2025 would be due, but it's due by the end of this year. So technically, if you're talking about by the end of 2026, you got to include 2025 as well. So you're saying everything's going to be done by the end of the year because they got this one done in 4 months. Only 3.5 months until they say it'll be here, and they've done it in 4 months. Once again, the math ain't mathin'. It continued, though, this conversation.
Okay. What's her name for BDO?
Kelly.
Miss Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah.
When you finish April the 30th, or before April the 30th, you're going to immediately proceed with 23?
That is correct.
Okay, just want to point out, I don't want you to miss that. This entire conversation has been about the financials and audit process for the fiscal year 2022, which started, just remember this, October 1st, 2021. Fiscal year runs from October 1st through September 30th. So that's what we're talking about and bragging about and thumping our chest and talking about how great we're doing on March the 10th, yesterday, March the 10th, 2026. Well, we've almost caught up and figured out what we spent in November of 2021. Good job, guys. I don't see a lot to brag about yet. You making progress? Good. That's expected. You don't get bragged on because you did your job, finally. Again, my perspective. But we're talking about the 2021-2022 year. When you hear them call year dates, they call it by the ending year. That's the majority of the fiscal year, January through September. In 22, so they call it the 22 year. That started October 1st, 2021. So now when they get done with this, they're going to immediately roll over and start to work on 23. After 23, let's stay where we're at. We're talking about being done with the 22 stuff by June 30th. You heard him. That's the target date to bring it all, to give it all. So we're talking about another 3.5 months until we get 22 done. I mean, I don't mean, let's not parse the words and try to make it sound better than it is. He very clearly said the target date is at the end of June, June 30th. Last day of this administration, by the way. So that gives you 6 months to get 23, 24, and 25 done. It's going to take the first 6 months of this year to get 22 finished and in the books. And then you're going to tell me we're going to get the rest of it by the end of this year. I'm not sure I'm going to believe it, mainly because I have heard multiple bands with multiple lead singers make the same promise, and we never seem to finish the tune. So no, I'm not believing the Pollyanna promises. Any credit, any leeway has long been used up. It's long gone. We know how this works for 8 years now. We're halfway through the 26th fiscal year. Just another few months and we'll have 22 in the bag. And before you come back and go, oh, well, no, see, they're actually finishing up their part on April 30th. So no, I'm going by what day you hand it to the state auditor, the one that's wanting to come and take all of our money. That's the only date that counts. We can't sugarcoat this. We can't get fluffy puppies and rainbows out here to make everybody feel good about the fact that we're still running 4 years behind. We're halfway through the 2026 fiscal year, hoping in the next few months to get the 22 wrapped up. Let's save our bragging until we have something worth bragging about. That's my thought. Let's go back to where she started her reply and pick up from there.
That is correct. Our intention is just to roll right into the next year as soon as we're done with the previous.
Just wanted to make sure that we all understand that they're going to be moving come April the 30th or before. They're going to move right into the next year.
Without board action.
Without board action. You may.
I know that we have on the docket to approve a part-time position for Becky O'Quan.
Let's. This board can only create the position. Whoever you want to put in that position does not need to be discussed with this board because that's a day-to-day activity. We just need to deal with creating the position and giving you that authority. Okay? We don't need to get involved in day to day.
Okay, roger that. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the correction. The hope is to use this position to move forward in time. That means that she'll start focusing on getting those documents, identifying all of these, because that's what's really driving us, is that we need a bunch of financial information, a bunch of documents that we have to find out where they are. Because if I can move that piece ahead, then our auditors, they can move faster. The BDO can also move faster if we can just give them that information. And so that was the, that's what I want to communicate there. That is my hope and my plan.
Okay. Now,
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I just want to say, this is good, because it's been one of the problems for a minute. Let's get as many people as we can comfortably afford working on this. That's the only way you're going to catch up. If you think the same number of people, the same head count, that let it get 4 years behind is going to magically be able to catch it up, that's crazy talk to me. It doesn't work that way. Nothing works that way. Nothing has ever worked that way. You get at, well, let me put it like this. Let's say you want a brick wall built in your backyard. Tired of the neighbor's poodle yapping at you. So you put a brick wall up. That's your plan. So you hire a bricklayer. One guy's one-man crew comes in. He's got to mix all the mortar. He's doing all the bricking, all of it. He gets going, and you decided he's not moving fast enough, so you come out and tell him, well, I know you said you'd be done by Friday, but I really want this done by Tuesday. And he says, well, I'll have to bring in some people to help me. That's going to cost more. No, you can't do that. I hired you to do this job, and you'll do it now, and you'll do it quickly, and you better do it perfect as well. You better do it properly. Does that sound crazy? That's the way we've been operating. So now we're talking about bringing somebody else in to help. That's how you speed up. That's how you move forward. That's a good move. That's a logical move. The problem I see here is we have gotten so many promises over the years, that none of them feel worth believing at this point, do they? No, that's the entire problem. Now, you heard him talking about having to find the records and having to go back, to 2022 and ask these vendors, hey, do you still have that invoice from 4 years ago? But I need a copy of that because, well, haven't been able to actually develop a filing system. Trying to work on it now, though. So if you could dig back through your records to 4 years ago, give me a copy of that. That'd be great. Thank you. You may be wondering, well, how bad could the records keeping be? How bad could the situation actually be to get us to that point? We're going to discuss that next with audio from the board meeting last night. A couple of items. We talked about them yesterday. It just gets better and better. The more things that are drugged screaming and steaming into the light of day, the worse this Lovecraftian horror movie we call McComb City Government Financial Ability gets. We've got that for you right after this on SuperTalk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Keep it here.
Whoa. Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on.
Will I ever see what it's worth? Cold, you tell me to be happy. When all I do is work. All I do is when all I do is work.
Welcome back, Super Talk, Mississippi, Pike County. And we go right back to the audio because there were a couple of items on the agenda, and we talked about them yesterday that they got to last night. And I'll just let the audio speak for itself for a moment, shall we? Because I want you to process what you're hearing here, okay?
Number 23, consider acknowledging a duplicate payment to Greenbrier Construction in the amount of $228,911.65. Ratify the demand letter and direct the city clerk to document it in the audit file.
So move. Second.
Okay, Selectman. Yes, those are your words.
No, but
City attorney weighing in, saying, I got a question, and the mayor came back and said, those are your words. Not really. I want you to notice, this entire thing is about the fact that we apparently paid a bill twice. It's not the only one. There's another one coming up after this. And we caught it, and we're sending them a letter, and we're doing all this stuff. Except we get to the point where it's on the agenda. We've got the motion written up, all legal and pretty, and we still have no clue what we're doing. Listen to this.
Yes, those are your words.
no, but I thought these were.
They were left off.
No, I understand that they were left off, but these were checks issued but never cashed. Is that correct?
Roger that.
Okay, so my language was ratify stop payment.
Motion to amend.
So move.
Well, I've never got the motion, so we're going to
Cotting Mullins.
ratify the stop payment.
Just erased your motion. Just wrote it in pencil.
I didn't even write it down, so. Did somebody make motion and say?
It's all right. It's a point of order. It was, but it's okay.
No. We got to do it right.
I withdraw my motion.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't withdraw my motion. You don't get to it. Seconds can't be withdrawn.
Stop payment.
A finely oiled machine, hard at work for you.
So every time the check was issued but not cashed, it was stop payment. When it was cashed, it was demand letter.
Okay.
We just need to know how to word it.
Right, but it's
okay. Consider acknowledging a duplicate payment to Greenbrier Construction in the amount of $231,045 and ratify the stop payment and direct the city clerk to document it in the audit file.
So moved.
And wait. That's the wrong one. I read the wrong one. That's the next one.
Okay.
Consider acknowledging a duplicate payment to the Greenbrier Construction in the amount of $228,911.65. Ratify the stop payment and direct the city clerk to document it in the audit file.
So moved.
Finely oiled machine. It just took 2.5 minutes to get straight what you're doing, and then you had more than one time that you issued 2 checks instead of 1 to pay a bill to Greenbrier. So you got confused and read the wrong one and had to go back and start over because there was more than one big goof that you're trying to fix. And all of that discussion and all of that confusion and everything else, and you wonder why we're in the situation we're in. They are putting on a play 2 Tuesday nights a month, really 4 if you count the work sessions, giving you a visible example of how we wound up in this situation. Come on. The mayor reads the motion. The city attorney speaks up and says, hold on, wait a minute now. This was a thing where we issued a second check, but they didn't cash it. By the way, props to Greenbrier. They didn't put it in the bank. They realized they have an accounting standard, I guess. So they caught that. They didn't cash it. But that changes the wording of the motion. So now we had to go back and change that because we couldn't even get the motion down right for exactly what was going on before the meeting happened. We got to play all this out live. My question is, what's the point of the work sessions if we can't work all of this out ahead of time? This is like, the basics of what you're doing. And we have to fumble our way through that. It's not a good look.
Okay, select Mullins second. Discussion.
Oh, I got one thing.
Discussion.
So this is, from the outside, I can imagine people online, people in the crowd are like, what the crap is the city doing? Okay? But I will tell you this. Finding this 4 weeks late is better than finding it 4 years late is what we've been doing. So this may look messy, but this is a sign of progress that we are self-reporting issues and issues not being found 4 years later. So this is some confusing way a sign of progress in us being better at our job than we used to be.
He does have a point.
I want to piggyback on what Selectman Cotting has said. Due to the fact that now we have someone here who are reconciling, they are able to catch these ahead of time instead of 2, 3, 4 years behind.
Wow.
Okay. What's the CA?
I really want to say a big thank you to Jonathan and to Valerie, because what we're able to do by using some of the AI technology is to go and look for those duplicates now. It makes it much easier for us to look for them, identify them, and begin the process of reconciliation. And so this has been a big help to both Valerie and to myself. So thank you, Jonathan.
Let's just play that again in case you missed it. I want you to catch that.
They are able to catch these ahead of time instead of 2, 3, 4 years behind.
Wow.
Okay. What's the CA?
I really want to say a big thank you to Jonathan and to Valerie, because what we're able to do by using some of the AI technology is to go and look for those duplicates now. It makes it much easier for us to look for them, identify them, and begin the process of reconciliation. And so this has been a big help to both Valerie and to myself.
Now, let me just say this. I'm a huge fan of AI. I am. I see everybody running around. The world is ending. I've given the story before. It reminds me of when they actually rioted, burned down buildings, and threw printing presses in the River Thames in England because printing presses were going to put the scribes out of work. It was inhuman. It was horrible. Printing books. They had a riot over it. Same mentality anytime anything changes. I am a fan of AI. AI is really good at some things and not remotely ready for prime time on others. I will say this leans into the current strengths of AI. This is exactly the kind of thing that AI can help with, so they're using it appropriately. AI is not a magic potion in a Dungeons and Dragons game. You don't just drink it and everything's better. But it does have its uses. It does have its place. So I'm sure there's going to be some people going, I don't want that AI in my business. Oh, be quiet. The pill lady will be around shortly. Until then, stay calm. Having said that, you can have the finest race car on the planet. I mean, this thing is sharp, sparkling. Got a whole bunch of horses under the hood. It looks fast. It's sitting parked. Nobody's in it, and it still looks like it's doing 30. I mean, this is a fine car. If your driving stinks, it doesn't matter. The jury, despite what we're trying to be sold here, the jury is still out on if our driving has improved. We needed to go back and take driver's ed again when it comes to managing financial records. That's indisputable at this point. You can try to sugarcoat it all you like. We're 8 years into this nonsense, and we're talking about financial records from 4 years ago with the accounting firm. So yes, catching the fact that you paid a bill and then turned around and paid the bill again just 4 weeks later instead of 4 years later, definitely an improvement. Selectman Cotting is right. At the same time, how about we reach the point where we just don't make those mistakes? That would be neat. The fact that we're still digging them up, and we're just on 22, which means we've got 23, 24, and 25. How many more are there going to be? The smart money does not bet on the answer to that question being 0. That would make no sense. So, what we have to do, and I think we're taking some steps to move in that direction. The problem is I have been able to truthfully say that repeatedly over the last several years, and we're still here. Now, you heard the mayor refer to, I'm sorry, that's the next one. I was reading the next one. This is the next one.
Number 24, consider acknowledging a duplicate payment to Greenbrier Construction in the amount of $231,045.06. Ratify the stop payment and direct the city clerk to document it in the audit file. Can I get a motion? Second, Cotting.
Second.
Selectman Mullins. Discussion.
Okay, would just like to point out, you add these two together because they are two separate things, 228, 231. You're over $450,000. You're approaching $500,000 in erroneous checks that were written. Double payments. Which in the grand scheme of things, mistakes happen. You have to be able to give a little grace if you expect to get any. But at the same time, when you layer that in on top of everything else, there's only so many straws you can put on the camel's back before it starts creaking. Last thing you want's an inverted hump. So it's not necessarily a reaction to just this one thing. It's all of the just this one things that we have had to deal with for years, and we're continuing to deal with, to where it was a major part of the conversation last night, with votes taken last night. So this is as recent as now, going back for years. Sooner or later, we got to get to the bottom of this. We got to get this sorted out, and we got to get things running properly. Yes, the root of the problems was in the previous administration. We have pretty well run out the clock on this administration, which came in the summer of 2022. So they've managed to work through the mess that the previous board apparently left. But that's still going to work out. I want you to notice when this board came in, when this administration came in, they were 4 years behind. They had not done an audit. Nothing. That 4 years didn't do them one. And now here we are 4 years later, and we're only 3.5 years behind. So we deserve full credit. Hold on. I may throw my shoulder out, but it's the least I could do for you because I got to pat myself on the back. We're doing a great job. No, you're not. I'm getting tired of the Pollyanna fluffiness. How about instead, how about the bragging come from outside instead of inside City Hall for once? Now, that requires you to actually do things and improve things. But this has been the case going for quite a while now. Let's finish up this item very quickly here.
None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Number 25, consider approving and ratifying the correction of an inadvertent transfer of funds between accounts.
This is a beaut. Listen to this one.
Intended transfer amount was $33,351.04. Actual amount of transfer was $333,351.04. Can I get a motion in second?
Point of order.
Point of order. Go ahead.
Can we add in document on the audit file? Is that fine?
Don't have a problem.
Copy.
And have the city clerk to document
So move.
I just want to say thank goodness Selectman Cotting's on the board, because how many things has he corrected just in these few conversations that were not done properly until he pointed it out? And every time the mayor's like, I got no problem with that. You're right. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I mean, seriously. You have to get to the bottom of the barrel of nonsense eventually, don't you? No. We purchased the bottomless barrel, and it's going great.
Okay, Selectman Cotting. Is there a second?
Second.
Selectman Thompson. And I'm going to read it. It said, consider approving and ratifying the correction of an inadvertent transfer of funds between accounts. Intended transfer amount was $33,351.04. Actual amount transferred was $333,351.04. And the city clerk to document it in the audit file. That's how it reads.
You have a motion in a second, correct?
Right.
Colin Thompson.
Okay. We'll just stop that right there, because aside from, again, having to correct it and get it right midstream, which again brings up the question to me, okay, what again is the purpose of the work sessions? I thought it was to get everything worked out ahead of time. In a work session, this would be a fantastic conversation. Still a great conversation. It just should have happened some other time. You don't wait till game time. You don't wait until the ref blows the whistle and the other team kicks off to start working out your game plan. You kind of got to have some plays to call, and they've got to be pre-written. And we keep forgetting the running back, apparently. But the bigger issue here, yes, it's a typo. It's a mistake. That's easy. Hit the 3 key on the keyboard 3 times instead of 2. That's an understandable error. Acceptable? Depends on how much grace you've put in the bank from getting everything else right. Oh, wait. That hasn't happened, and that's the problem. When you have just an honest mistake, and that's what it sounds like, it's a $300,000 honest mistake. So you got the two checks, which were around $450,000. Then you got an erroneous $300,000 transfer. That's $750,000 across these three items going where it wasn't supposed to go. And you wonder, and they're going to scoff. They're going to laugh. Oh, there's been nothing going on. But I'm sorry, you got that much confusion. It makes everyone suspicious that some money has just been going into pockets. I mean, three examples in last night's meeting of money going where it wasn't supposed to go. Just change the target recipient instead of what actually happened. It's not that far of a reach. Is there any evidence or proof of that? Of course not. And what are the odds that somebody associated with city government would embezzle $1 million, $750,000 from the city? I mean, it just happened the once. So, obviously it's not that common. And we're making great strides to improve things. I'm getting tired of hearing how much we're improving things. I'd like to see us improve things. That would be great. So, taken by itself, this is a simple mistake. This is an honest error, it looks like. Instead of typing 33,000, they accidentally typed 333,000 doing a transfer. I get that. It's a goof. It's a big goof, but it's an understandable goof. It would even be an acceptable goof if we didn't have two other ones on the same docket that we're having to vote to fix, and we hadn't had 8 years of this kind of mess. So in that context, and I'm sorry, the context is all important here. When you have a nonstop trail of mistakes and problems and questionable things, every little thing looks horrible at that point. Because you've got the mistaken transfer. That's a different category. You've got two different times to Greenbrier. They had a bill and wrote a check for it, and then came back and wrote another check for the same bill. Two different times. Twice. Because, in case you missed this, you might have been out sick this day in nursery school. It's been taught from a very young age how to properly pay bills.
Dun, 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 dun. Being a grown-up can be scary. Dun, dun. Being a grown-up can be hard. Dun, dun, dun. But you can make it easier right in your own backyard. Dun, dun, dun. You don't have to look like a fool. Just follow this golden rule. If you get a bill, pay it twice, 3 times if you can.
Yeah, baby.
Always remember that twice is nice. Don't do this and you'll be the man. Did you ever walk into the kitchen and forget why you were there?
Yesterday.
This is the same thing financially to help you avoid a scare. If you get a bill, pay it twice. How could you possibly tell? Just write another check and remember, it's not your money. Oh well.
Foundational life advice there, obviously. Yes, I know. They're fixing it. They're fixing it. We're taking care of it. We don't like the insinuation. Nobody cares. 8 years of this. 8 years of financial nonsense. We went through the water payments going to the general fund instead of the water and sewer account. We went to people not paying a water bill or getting a water bill for years and nobody caught it. Those are just the ones that we've talked about in the last 6 months. It is a nonstop ongoing thing. Enough is enough. Sooner or later, we got to fix stuff. Yes, we're doing better. Doing better does not mean doing well.
If you cry out
And I'm sorry, anything you trot out now, oh yes, but we're bringing people in, we're going to take care of this, we're doing that, fine. I've been hearing that for 8 years and nothing's changed. So we're at the point now where nobody gets credit for ideas. What do we go by? Results. Only 3 mistakes were $750,000 corrected at last night's meeting. How many more are out there? We'll find out sooner or later. Final thoughts after this.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning, even when you miss it the first time. You can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have to pray. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
Yep, run along, Chew. Don't forget to pay your bills, and then tomorrow you can pay them again.
Turn all of the lights on.
Then 4 weeks from now, you can change your mind. That's how it works. I do agree still with Seligman Cotting 100%. At least it wasn't 4 years later. That is an improvement. We'll take it because we don't have a choice. Just so frustrating. And it's doubly frustrating when all you get, and I understand the mechanisms, I understand the propaganda value in it, but I have to think of the Judge Judy quote every time I hear someone bragging about how much better the city is doing with its financials. Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. That was a great quote. I got to get that audio, actually. You have a wonderful day. Tomorrow I will not be here at 9 because I will be here at 10:06 for middays on Super Talk Mississippi. My friend, I will see you then.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.